Good morning. Today we're going to be taking a look at XRP and the SIGMA coin. So, all right, XRP, we've got ourselves almost finished move here. We've been following this trend pretty consistently now, and it looks like we'll be wrapping everything up this evening for me, late at night. We'll kind of get our final flush down to our estimated target of $2.91. Now we may have a flash crash that takes us all the way down to 283. So at this point, just to give, I have re-entered into spot right here at this level because a 382 is your standard wave 2 accumulation, and we've been pretty responsive to this fib. As you can see, we just kind of been chopping and bouncing and back testing that fib pretty aggressively. So I figured it wasn't worth messing with the spot to try to see if I can get back in, but I do still have a leverage short as a protection against this pull down. My main target is 291, and then if we're lucky and fortunate enough to see anything down in this region, I mean, talk about a massive longing opportunity. So with this gap fill right here. So that's what I'm basically watching, but there is some signs that I do think that this may be all that we get is something in this region here for this quick breakdown. So let's go through them real fast. So first off, we're going to jump over. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have 5, just kind of is the estimation completion here to wrap this up. So we're going to jump over to things I'm seeing with the Bitcoin over, XRP over Bitcoin version here. We have this gap over here on the left, and we are just about there. So the estimation was that we would wrap up this kind of pull down into the afternoon of today, kind of get it going here with this trend line and everything else that we've been following, and it's getting pretty close. So the fact that I saw that manifesting on the charts yesterday is why I went back into spot, because I figured it wasn't worth trying to quickly game that little move, and we'll go in and out of the more aggressive shorting and longing positioning. So if we do make, yeah, I mean, it still could happen. It could just be a quick flush, closes this gap over here on the left. It says that it, I mean, if we move it over here like that, maybe we would push out a smidge more in time. So we would go to this evening at about 6, which for everybody who's listening is about 10 hours, 9 hours away, 9 hours away. So that would be the completion of this 5-wave move to the upside and this ABC correction for the XRP Bitcoin pair. Now jumping over to the XRP dominance, same story. We did have the gap over here, and it did close already. So I'm like, oh, okay. So we had a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5-wave move off the lows with an ABC. And let's just see, we'll do this live. Are these equal legs? Let's take a look. So we have a measurement tool here, and nope, not quite. So we may still have a little bit more, but that might be enough for that C leg coming into play. So maybe just a smidge more somewhere in these regions, but it did close the gap and find support. So I would be thinking that the dominance is about to become more XRP dominance from here. So those are the two main things that I'm watching for the XRP, which led me to re-enter my spot positioning, because we can weather the downs and the ups from there. Now, jumping over to the VLO data, we can actually see something really intriguing showing up here, and I thought this was quite interesting. So we have price go down, okay? We have selling, that is market selling, is diminishing, okay? But that doesn't mean that there isn't limit buys. But we do have the open interest massively increase. I mean, that's a huge move to the upside on open interest. And we do have the open interest starting to become mostly short. So if we do get a quick wick down, this would bottom out to short. This maybe would continue up as people are thinking we have a larger breakdown happening. And then we have the exact opposite happen, where there's a quick reversal and flush the other direction as people are looking for their price target. And we can actually end up seeing a move the other direction pretty quick. And we end up having this breakdown on the open interest, this return upwards of leverage longs after they've closed out all the longs. It's still mostly long, but it's becoming more short. And then maybe a massive buying volume steps in here too. So it's definitely like right on the cusp. And the fact that we're seeing all this price action here manifesting at the end is pretty concerning, with this massive increase being short positioning right at the bottom of our range here. So this is kind of how I'm looking at it. So I'm expecting one flush. I'm expecting it to be aggressive and quick, just like we saw over here. So when it happens, it's going to be very, very fast. and then we should be able to then start grinding our way out of here and moving out, and we'll be looking for a wave 1, wave 2 on the other side of this. So something along this line is what we'll then have added to the move, and this would be the ultimate ideal longing spot once we complete our correction to the downside. So yeah, lots of words, and with this final kind of correction coming in, if we get it, which I do think we will based off the count thus far, we would be seeing meme coins perform well. So look at that, good old Sigma got some love. So we have we had a great space yesterday. Zen came in, kind of got everybody bullish. They ultimately resulted in buying again. We've been following this massive breakdown with a falling wedge pattern, and in this falling wedge we had a 5-wave move to the downside, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's your completion of the final breakdown, and then we had a breakout, and we should complete this little back test here. So I am personally hoping that we can get this over with XRP. We come in, we back test this falling wedge that was bullish, and then we are now free to go higher. So I'm thinking anything in this area is now the new accumulation spot that we have a confirmation coming into the market here with everything. So this is now your accumulation zone for me. So but yeah, this new higher high was even set, so that's a really, really bullish indication, and just we just continue onward and upwards. So definitely the fact that we've seen Sigma complete its falling wedge, an 886 back test on the larger degree, a higher low being set here on this final move, and then an explosive candle off of the lows is making me extremely bullish for what's coming on Sigma here, and we're wrapping it up. And then finally, checking out on the Sigma coin, this is Cardano. We've been talking about it as being this kind of smackdown and this falling wedge pattern, and then bam, it gets out of here, right, and just goes, and we start just okay. Well, this is it not on log. So everything you just saw was right here, and if we were to look at Sigma coin not on log, and we just jump to the 3-day, or sorry, the daily, and we just get a lot of this on here. Here's your just kind of your drawdown, and we go back to Cardano, and here's your drawdown, and that little area right there is where we're at, and then this is what comes next, right? So putting it on log, it changes your perspective of what that looks like, so you can see that a little bit easier. But this is the parabolic rise, and we're like right here getting ready to do all that. So so yeah, so that's basically what we're watching here. You know, there's going to be some definite silliness going on, so we'll see how this plays. So I do have a stop out above this high, and I'm just willing to take the loss if we do. But at this point, I'm still planning for one more breakdown on the XRP, just because of the count, coupled with the fact that we have the massive increase in open interest. Oh, and then the liquidations. That's the last thing I wanted to show. We do have some liquidations right down here. So I don't know if we're going to sweep up and get the 301ers, or we're going to just continue down to get the 295s and lower, maybe even getting us to this 290 threshold, 291. There we go. That's the last of the liquidity. So maybe we'll just dump down, flush the remainder of the longs, be mostly way too short, and then we reversal from here with the velo data giving us this increase of open interest. This goes then becomes red, like we see right here. And then once that's finished, we can then reverse and get out of here. But this is definitely concerning for open interest people, and it does look like the shorts are about to be in trouble. So they'll maybe get one victory, and they better be quick. So make sure your stops are tight. So yeah, that's basically what I'm looking at the overall market. Sigma breaking out. Woo, love it. Love to see it. And then you've got XRP getting ready to do one more breakdown flush. And then finally finishing with our dominance chart, completely closing the gap with the Bitcoin dominance chart, possibly already doing it, or very, very close, which we'll know here in the afternoon of today. And if we can just get that last little flush down here, close this area of supply, and be all done, that would be huge. And we can then just be done and finished and get out of here. So all right, hopefully that was helpful. That's how I'm looking at the overall market at this point, and we'll check in tomorrow.